record. Good morning. Happy Monday. Thank you, everyone, for joining. It's very special with Purim this weekend, and I wanted to hear from Eran about that. What did that look like there in the land? Just Heather texted this morning. This is really good news. The U.S. Congress early on Saturday overwhelmingly passed a $1.2 trillion budget bill, which included a ban on U.S. funding for UNRWA, thank God, but until 2025. But the bill also eliminates funding for the UN Commission of Inquiry against Israel and fully funds the annual U.S. security commitment of $3.3 billion for Israel, which allocates funding for the Iron Dome and other defensive systems. So let's praise God for that. That is a victory, as well as we want to thank the Lord for Mike Johnson. Please don't forget to pray for Mike Johnson. I don't talk about him too much on this platform. He does have other intercessory groups going for him. He, of course, is the Speaker of the House in Congress, but he also takes a lot of hits. That guy takes a lot of hits. I get some of his prayer requests via a prophetic chain I'm on, and even for one of the Republicans called for his resignation or something, and this is ridiculous. But anyways, pray for Mike Johnson, but that's good news. Eran, thank you so much for joining on Mondays. We love it when you come on. And it's great, by the way, that the team, meaning 5 of them, Eran, you would know this already, but Heather Johnston and Joan Leslie and Shan, who's the assistant to Heather, and then the mother-daughter duo, Julie Eskew and her daughter Carolyn, they all arrived in Israel this morning safely from America, so thank God, and you will be meeting with Heather. But Eran, tell us what it was like to celebrate Purim this year in Israel and all of the other prayer points that you have for us. Thank you so much.
Shalom, and how are you all? Wait a minute. Okay, I'm okay. You hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. That's great. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So yes, it's Purim today, and I hope that Heather and the team are going to see the celebration that is going to be in Jerusalem. I think it's going to finish in a couple of hours, but now it's the highest day. I would like, in Purim we are reading the Megillah, and we are praying for God. So I took one of the sentence there, and I would like to read it to you. I think it's something that important. So it started like that. Bless you, Lord of God, King of the universe, Jehovah, who pleads our cause, judge our claim, avenges our wrong, brings retribution to our enemies, and punish of our foes. Blessed are you, Lord, who, on behalf of his people Israel, exact punishment for all their foes, the God who brings the salvation. I was reading that last week. So we are celebrating Purim in Israel in these days, and I think the beginning of that, and we spoke about it last time, the beginning of Purim, it's with the Ta'anit. Ta'anit, it's something that you are doing for yourself, meaning we deprive ourselves from food and focus on praying. And this is part of, the Jewish culture. You can see that in Independence Day that started the day before in Memorial Day. It's something that before we are celebrating and before we have a good time with the Lord, we have to think inside. We have to think deep inside ourselves, and we have to pray to the Lord, and we have to ask for forgiveness, and we have to come very humble to Him when we are coming to Him. And before Purim, there is in the story, Esther was torture herself, her body and her soul. This is coming together. It's not just not eating. You have to torture your soul also. You have to think about your bad things. Because when you are coming to the Lord, in front of the Lord, you have to be clean. and you have to be pure. And this is part of that. Before you are coming to the king, you have to be pure. And all her girls that serve her, and all the people of the Israel in Paras, which is now Iran, was praying and fasting. And I think this is something that it's really important to the story. And Esther was praying for getting a plan and a strategy, and all the people was praying for her. And the story ended with a in a great victory in Israel. And these days, I think we are in the same place. I think this days of Purim, which is a celebration day, it's a happy days. The childrens are happy, but you can see on the street, without speaking about it, a lot of people are going and thinking about how they can be good to the Lord, how they can be pure to the Lord. Before, because we know that when we are coming to God, we have to be clean. I'm looking for something to share with you. But before we are coming to God, we have to be clean and pure. And this is something that in all our prayers and all the things that happen to us, we have to be like that. In Israel, there is cities that you can see that there is parades until this year. This year, a lot of parades are canceled. In Jerusalem, there is a parade, but there a lot of parades canceled. There is a celebration like we have today in Ariel, but every year it's loudly and very noise, and the music is very strong, and everybody is happy in the street. And these days you can see the children are with costume, but the parents are in a different mood, because and again the families of the hostages and the family of the grieving family also divided in between themselves. Some of them said, celebrate and be happy because this is our role of our children that we sacrifice, and the hostages that are there, we want that they're sitting there in the caves and in the prison is going to be worth all the trouble. And there is a lot of families that say, don't celebrate. Why you have to celebrate? We are not celebrated. So again, there is this municipalities that do and municipality that didn't do. And I'm going also always to the roots, to the Bible, and we see that in the Esther and the Mordecai, it's about proportion in life, and about becoming humble to the Lord, and being consistent with your way. And this is what happening, I think to the people of Israel. We are celebrate, we are happy, but we are very focused in the situation that we have, and the situation is very bad, especially for this 134 people that is holding hostages while there is a negotiating about that. I think that the Lord is planning something good for us. I think in these days, I think that in this again, it was a hard day again in Israel. A couple of hours ago, there was a rocket attack on Ashdod, which is in the south, and you can ask yourself how can it be after 171 days of fighting. But it was there in Ashdod, which is 40 minutes from Tel Aviv, and it's terrible. In other side, I was in Sderot last week, which is in the border, which is this is the city that the people coming inside with the trucks, the terrorists came inside the city and murder and kill there and burn the city. And you see people that their desire is back to life. You hear from Gaza all the time there are bombs, but you see the children are playing, and you see the children are get used to it. And I was I was happy to see them in a normal life, but my heart was crying for them, because think about children that the situation that they was born to, it's a noise of bombs. It's a noise of war. It's a noise of violence. And when we coming from came from Tel Aviv, every 10 minutes we was jumping because of the bombs. But these children are continue to play, and think about these children, how their life look like. These children are suffered and are post trauma, and they didn't know because this is the situation for them. And this is one of the hard thing that it's we don't want that, and this is part of the negotiation now. We want that in the end of this war, these people can come back to their kibbutz, to their moshav, to their municipality, and they can have normal life like Fred have in Michigan. I'm not sure that in Michigan there's 20 years of rocket missiles on there. I don't think that any of you are going in Washington, D.C. and looking in the back and wondering if somebody will stab you in the back, or not in the back, in the front. They're not afraid, the Arabs. So this is my prayer. And again, the situation in Israel of the hostages is terrible. Think about the families that every other second there is a new deal on the table and a new rumor about them, and they are struggling and struggling with that. And this is influence all of Israel, because the government are not providing a good answer for that, and Hamas is playing with us. And Hamas don't care about his people, about the people that are starving in Gaza, the people that suffer in Gaza, the people that they have cold nights in Gaza. Hamas don't care about them. Yahya Sinwar is just focused on his agenda and on his how to be rich. He don't focus on his people. And this is something that is really, really concerned us. Our people are going to Qatar for weeks. They're meeting with the CIA leader to bring a deal, but it's not look like it's something real on the table. All the time it's something like, and what of the Hamas is asking to release murders. Some of them was in the 7th of October in the attack, and they want them part of the deal to release them. Think about it, a guy that was murdered, raped, and kidnapped 2 weeks ago, 5 months ago, I'm sorry. Now his people wants to release him. And how can we do that? And how we can do that? In the other hand, we have women there that 5 months are in a terrible condition, and the testimonies that the people came from there are terrible about how they are behaving, especially to the woman, and the prices are not there. You cannot navigate in that, and this is terrible. And we are bringing them for them food, and they are stealing for them people the food, and then sell the food for them. It's terrible, and all the time we can hear. Yesterday I was hearing Vice President Camila yesterday or day before, she said that we have to stop the war and kill and finish Hamas. How you can kill and finish Hamas and not stop the war? It's like it's to sit in the White House and give us bad advices. We have here a lot of people that are doing bad from the 7th of October. We don't need another people to lecture us about how to be moral or how we have to finish the war and kill the Hamas in the same breath. This is something that I cannot. I don't like that. I don't think that it's right. And they asking that we are going to give them to bring back our soldiers. Or it's a very bad situation in the north. The Hezbollah is continue to shooting missiles, and the people don't live there. It's terrible. Last week we have students that came from the border. This is part of the NOMI project. Students that are refugees. I spoke with one of them. He don't like to go to school. He don't like to go to do the final exams. He don't wants to. He said that his parents he do whatever he wants, and this is the situation there. And for my happiness, he came to the National Leadership Center with another 40 friends, and it was amazing day. And you see the people are take out the cell phone with all the noises that are bringing there, and we spoke with them about the life of King David, and it was amazing to see how they are connected to these stories all the time. It's coming every day and every day. We have a group of soldiers that their chief was stopping the day in the middle of the day because the soldiers, the officers start to sharing their testimonies from the battle. And you see young people in the age of 24, 25, that they're becoming leaders because of the circumstances and because they understand why they are fighting. And you see brothers and sisters, you can see in Shabbat night in Tel Aviv, the demonstration against the government, and there is a demonstration on behalf of the government. But the soldier, the officer that I met, when they came inside to Gaza, it was very clear to them that as Jewish people, they are brothers. They are brothers. They are shared the same history. They share the same DNA, and they're going to fight. It's not important if you are from the right or from the left. You can see that, and when they came to the NLC, the feeling of together was coming back to them when they go to the Odyssey. And this was amazing to see. We're speaking in the Odyssey about the life of Abram, and in the life of Abram, we're speaking about the journey. And we're asking the people why Abram go to his journey. And everybody understand that the Lord sent him to his journey to the promised land. And then this officer that was bleeding and willing to sacrifice their life, they understand that the journey and the promised land is the modern Israel. And God gave them the ability to connect together and to be Jewish people together that love their neighbors more than loving the people that they have the same opinions with them. And I understand that politics is nonsense. It's not, politics is not going to bring us back. What is going to bring us and what is the glue between the Jewish people is the faith, is the understanding of the journey. He has the stand of who sent us, is understanding the roots. This is something that we have to bring more and more to the people, and we understand that people are, when they are coming back to the battlefield, they understand that outside there is a lot of argues, and when they're coming to the NLC, go to the Odyssey, the journey are together. They understand together that this is the journey that they are wishing. And in the end of the day, some of the groups were speaking about maybe we have to communicate outside different as soldiers. We will sacrifice ourselves, but as citizens, we have to be more vocal. And this is what we are training and educating in the National Leadership Center. We are educating to be active, like the Lord asked Moses to be active, not just sitting around and not doing anything. Give and do and go you and do the thing. Be active. Don't just sitting in your land. I'm sending you there. Don't sit in prayer and don't sit and look in the sky and happen that something will happen to you. You have to come, you have to take your family, you have to take your people and go and establish a nation. And this is what this officer understand, that there came to the war, there was brave and like lions, and now they have to continue the journey, not back to the TV and say, oh, it's not good, it's not good, it's not good. No, it's not good, and we have to fix it because God make us to be an activist. And this is our the thing that we are happy, and the thing that we have to contribute to see how people are healing. Are people open their heart to speak about the trauma that they have and not afraid to share? Sometimes IDF soldiers are not feeling comfortable to share their feelings. In the National Leadership Center, they are feeling very good about sharing their heart, talking about the trauma, talking about their feeling, their fears sometimes. But this is something that we are doing that. And when we are encourage them, when they are jumping in the leap of faith, and we encourage them to leave their Goliath behind and release, this is something that it's very helpful for them, because we are the only one that say to them, okay, it's okay that you have Goliath in your life, and now you have to release. And we teach them to release. And this is something that it's really important. And we see that people happy to see that. And as long continue, we see people standing more and more long time on the pole, because they have to think about the Goliath and they have to release. The release is a long process. There is people that living lifetime without releasing and without understand that. But when you understand the life of King David, the king that was not raised in palaces, he was raised in caves, he was raised in war, he was raised in sadness. You can understand that you have the same thing in Gaza. You was fighting in the tunnels, with an enemies, and now you have to release, because if you want to heal, you have to release your Goliath. And I think that the main thing that I like to pray, and this is what I'm doing every morning, is that to pray for Benjamin Netanyahu and to his people, for managing this war, to finish that, to end that, to bring peace to Israel with wisdom, that it would allow to people to come back and live safely, bring the hostages for their families, all the fronts. You know, we have a lot of issues in Judea and Samaria. I said to them today, to Oren, the guy that working with me in the NLC, the fact that the National Leadership Center is working, it's a miracle, because no businesses in Judea and Samaria are not working, not restaurants, not places of industrial park, because the Palestinians are not coming. There is a lot of problems there. But the National Leadership Center is working with all the troubles, with the trainers that are reserved, with the university that not function. We are working. We have 2 groups in a day, and this is something that is amazing. I think one of the critical things that we understand these days, that without the American people, it's very, very hard to us to continue to fight. We need the support, and I'm praying today for Heather Johnston and the team that are coming to Israel and bringing the Congress. And I think this is one of the critical times to bring people to Israel, especially people that have influence, and they can help us to continue. And I'm praying for all the children of Israel. I see the people that are coming to the NSC, I see sadness. I see sadness in the eyes of the children. I see that are worried. They are worried for the situation now, and they are worried about how it's going to look the next months and years in Israel. And I'm praying for them for hope. My heart is breaking when I hearing children speaking about, when I ask him about their dreams and hope, they say we don't have ones. I think children that are living in this environment, they are terrible. But when they're coming to the NLC and we allow them to speak, we allow them to dream, we ask them how they are feeling, the small thing that we are doing for them and for the educators and for the IDF soldier and what we are doing outside is to bring hope, is to bring the idea of that it's going to be okay and the Lord is going to take care of the Jewish people. We are not going anywhere. And this is what I told one of the students this week. We are not going. And because of you and your generation that was fighting in Gaza and fighting, and they're going to continue to fight in Gaza. You know, one of the sad thing in Israel that when my father go to when my grandfather go to the army, his father was praying that it's going to be peace. And it was like that when my father go to the army, my grandfather prayed for him. When the boys Itamar and Yonatan go to the army, my father was praying that their children are not going to come to the army. Unfortunately, we are going to live on our swords for a lifetime, because people wants to kill the Jewish people. Was the history, and unfortunately, this is going to be the future. But I think what kept us all this year to the pogroms, to the Holocaust, and to the 7th of October is the relations with God. God is protecting his people. God is the shepherd, and he's protecting us as his sheep. And this is a big news for people that are hunting all their life. We see communities in the Holocaust that was deleted. We see communities that deleting now in the 7th of October, but we can say it very loudly, and I think I know that some of you and most of you know that Am Israel Chai. Am Israel Chai is not just now. Am Israel Chai was from Pharaoh, and it's going to be forever. And because of the promise of the Lord, we are going to continue to fight, and we in the National Leadership Center are going to continue to educate the next generations of leaders in Israel that leadership is faith, purpose in life, and God. This is important, and this is what we are teaching, and we are bringing hope to Israel, and Israel is going to be great and amazing and flourish. Yes, it's hard time, but like Esther and Mordechai have bad times and hard times and fog around their life, the victory was huge, and the victory is going to be huge here because we are going to stay here. And my sentence to you today, Patricia, and I hope that in your prayers you can say that in Hebrew, Am Israel Chai. Am Israel Chai, it's now the Jewish people, the Israelis, the Israelites, the Jewish nation are alive then and alive in the future. Thank you
Wow.
very much.